In November 2022, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. Millions of users signed up within days, and almost overnight, the entire technology sector went into a panic. An immediate arms race kicked off. Tech giants like Google, Meta, and Microsoft began pouring billions of dollars into development, scrambling to build the smartest generative AI models as fast as possible. But they all hit the exact same physical wall. Training these massive language models requires enormous amounts of computational power. You need thousands of highly specialized microchips running continuously. The future of these trillion-dollar empires now relies on access to that specific hardware. And right now, the global supply of those chips is controlled by a single company. 30 years earlier, in 1993, 3 engineers met at a Denny's restaurant in California to start a business. They had almost no money, no customers, and faced a high probability of failure. At the time, their primary ambition was to make primitive 3D graphics on personal computer video games look slightly more realistic. One of those engineers was Jensen Huang. The company they founded in that diner was NVIDIA. Looking at a company fighting to survive the 90s PC gaming market, it is hard to see how it ends up building an inescapable choke point for the modern global economy. NVIDIA's early years were brutal. Their first products struggled to find traction. Revenue remained dangerously low, and the company nearly ran out of cash several times. While the rest of the computing world relied heavily on central processing units, CPUs, which execute one complex calculation extremely fast, NVIDIA made a different bet. Instead of a CPU taking tasks one at a time, NVIDIA built GPUs, designed to execute thousands of simple calculations simultaneously. This specific parallel architecture is the perfect mechanical process for rendering demanding 3D video game graphics. In 1999, NVIDIA launched the GeForce 256. The product met the explosive demand of PC gaming, saved the company from collapse, and secured their absolute dominance. By mastering parallel processing to render video games, NVIDIA unknowingly laid the mathematical groundwork for a completely different technological leap. In 2006, the company's leadership recognized their chips possessed massive, untapped computational power that could be applied to problems far beyond gaming. They introduced a software layer called CUDA. This diagram illustrates how CUDA acts as a bridge, allowing developers to use the GPU to solve complex, non-graphics mathematical problems. The release faced intense backlash. Gamers ignored the feature, the broader tech industry dismissed it, and investors viewed the development cost as a total waste. Jensen Huang ignored the pressure to focus on quarterly financial results. He continued to pour money into developing CUDA despite zero immediate market demand. Over time, this expensive, long-term financial bet functioned as a Trojan horse. It quietly planted NVIDIA's proprietary software across the entire computing landscape. By the 2010s, machine learning began advancing rapidly. University researchers suddenly found themselves in desperate need of immense computational power to train their models. In 2012, a neural network called AlexNet shocked the scientific community. Its success proved the raw power of deep learning to the entire field. The critical revelation from this era was mathematical. The exact equations required to train neural networks perfectly matched the parallel architecture NVIDIA originally built to push pixels on a screen. Because NVIDIA hardware was uniquely capable of handling this specific deep learning workload, research labs and major technology companies aggressively adopted their chips. By the time the rest of the world realized artificial intelligence was the future of computing, NVIDIA had already built and locked down the scientific infrastructure required to operate it. Returning to the present-day generative AI boom, it's worth asking why rival multi-billion-dollar tech giants cannot easily catch up to NVIDIA's position. NVIDIA's power rests on a massive network effect generated by a decade of CUDA adoption. Developers are deeply entrenched in a proprietary software environment. Competitors can manufacture physical chips, but they cannot easily replicate 15 years of built-up software development and intense developer loyalty. Ultimately, NVIDIA's primary product functions as an inescapable software ecosystem, one that sets the terms for the entire artificial intelligence industry. This leaves the company positioned as the ultimate modern-day shovel seller in a massive technological gold rush. It is entirely irrelevant to NVIDIA's bottom line whether Google, Microsoft, Meta, or OpenAI eventually wins the consumer-facing AI war. Every single one of those competitors must purchase NVIDIA's infrastructure simply to participate in the battle, guaranteeing massive profits regardless of who takes the ultimate crown. Jensen Huang secured this market dominance through a strategy executed decades before the AI boom began. The company spent years investing in infrastructure that the rest of the world had not yet realized it needed. Absolute market dominance is achieved by building the track for tomorrow's race, long before anyone else even knows it is happening.